What a fantastic night. Are you all having a good time? I'm Gaz. I'm going to do a 10 minutes comedy. Don't get too excited. But can I just say, I'm always been a supporter of Everybody's Reading. I'm from Leicester. Is there many people in from Leicester? You're all Leicester posse? Yes. It feels like you're not, but anyway, because I'm Leicester born and bred, and I love coming back and doing hometown gigs. My first ever gig was here in 1994, and I was on with John Cooper Clarke, Jack D and Joe Brand. What happened to them, I don't know, but I'm here tonight. But and it's great, the jazz has really got me mellow, because like all comedians had a terrible journey to the gig, and I had to pop to Sainsbury's because there'd been some problems in the bathroom, and I had to go and get some bathroom cleaner, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I went to the assistant and said, "Excuse me, where's the toilet duck?" That's my favourite Leicester joke that there is. Doesn't get much further than Birstall, but I love it. And the other favourite Leicester joke is did you hear about the woman who fainted in Mario's Chipperette? Apparently a pineapple fritter, and don't get no better, honestly. But no, it's great being back here, and I love like say doing Leicester gigs. And like I said, I was born on West Coast Drive and grew up in the Highfields. And is there any teachers in tonight? Yeah. Fucking. It can afford to go on strike, and they can afford to come in and get paid too much. And I went to Shenton Primary School. You might not know Shenton Primary because of massive expansion in higher education. It's now the University of North Evington, Humberston Road campus, and so I went there and had a fantastic time, and that sort of got me my humour, and from that, and it's. Because Everybody's Reading is also about words and writing. I've written a couple of shows over the years. I wrote a show about growing up in the 70s called Hey Up Me Duck, which was about how Leicester became such a multicultural city. And it was fantastic. I really liked it. It was autobiographical. And then I did one about the 1980s called the Spandau Ballet Years, which was reflective of my life, sort of reflected Spandau Ballets. I left school in 1983. They were number one. With True, and everything was great, and by the 1989 it had all gone to shit, which roughly reflected my life as well. So so I like words, and I like writing, and obviously reading. But what I wanted to do today, who here has been to a jazz club in New York? All right then, you can go with me, because I went to New York. I've just done some comedy in America. You're not that impressed, are you? You've got to join in on this show, because this relies on audience participation, he says. So, has anybody been here to an American comedy club? No. Woo, woo. The jazz has got me so mellow, Leicester, is there anybody in from the Highfields? And by that I don't mean Clarendon Park 90210. The other side of London Road, no. So, because I've just come back from a tour of America. And still there, they do integrate comedy clubs and jazz clubs in New York, and I was on, it was very similar to this. And what I want to try and do, recreate here tonight, in the Y Theatre Leicester, is that New York club. You can't do it, Gaz. And I'm doubting myself. But anyway, so you've got to join in though. So, like I say, has anybody genuinely been to an American comedy club? Yes. And they go for it, they whoop and they cheer. So, they love it and they go for it. It's like watching the Jerry Springer show in reality. It really is. And so what I'm going to try and do is play 3 parts in this. I'm going to be multi-skilling. So I went on and I sent an email. I said I was a top English comedian. They sent one back, "We love your python." I said, "You ain't seen my python." But anyway, so I went over, I was there, and there was a third act on. So what I want to try and do is recreate, with your indulgence, that club here tonight. First act comes on, he says his name, you all cheer. Then he says where he comes from, and you cheer again. Then he does his joke, and you laugh like buggers. Do you want me to explain? Sometimes I have done this. I've had to play both parts, both the comedian and the audience. But it's a bit too far down there and there's too many steps. So you're going to really have to indulge me. So you ready? Yeah. Here we go. Hi! Yeah. Is there anyone in from Brooklyn? Hey. You ever noticed, when you get a can of cola, you shake it up, you open it, it sprays all over you, you get wet! Yeah. Whole audience pissing themselves. I think this is the easiest $8 I've ever earned. So the next chap comes on. Hey. Is there anyone in from Manhattan? Yeah. We love you. Because, as you can probably tell from his accent, although he'd lived in America most of his life, he had spent a little bit of time in Leicester. You ever noticed when you're driving along in the summer, you got your sunroof open, it starts to rain, you get wet! I thought, this is it. I'll have a show on NBC by the end of the week. My go. Hey on me ducks! Deadly silence. I went, is there anyone in from Anstey Heights? Got worse. 2 people on the front row said, we might live in New York, but even we know Anstey Heights is Beaumont Leys. Complete silence, got deported, I'm here tonight, so there you go. But I love that joke, I don't care. Like I say, it doesn't go nowhere else. I mean, when I go Anstey Heights up in Manchester, they go, that's posh for us. So anyway, but like I said, I went to Shenton Primary. I'm from Leicester, and love coming from Leicester. Who was actually born in Leicester? Who loves Leicester as much as I do? The drummer definitely does. And I love Leicester that much that I even cheer when Leicester's on Crime Watch. I think, yeah, we're on there. That's how good we are. We're even good at robberies. And do you know when they do them reconstructions? Do you ever think, oh, I missed that, I was there, but I forgot to tell you? You know, I think that's a really strange thing. But also, I am a paranoid person. I watch Crime Watch, which is not the best programme to watch. And then there's been a robbery in Norwich. And I think, that can't be me. I've never been to Norwich. Not that I didn't do it, that I've just never been to Norwich, so I can't be caught for it. It's very strange, but that's probably come from us. But also, one of the things, I was working in Scotland about 10 years ago, and there was an outbreak of tuberculosis in Leicester, and I was even proud of that. I was going around, that's where I come from. I was in the pub going, it was on the news, national news, 50 people at Crown Hills Community College got tuberculosis. And I was going, yeah, that's my town. Then I realised I did actually go to Crown Hills, and I got slightly worried. But anyway, that was the thing. So you have a pride in where you come from, and I went to, like I say, Shenton Primary, which was one of the first multicultural schools in Leicester. And what we used to do, we used to have. I wasn't particularly academic. You probably would never tell. And also just before I go any further, I just want to disappoint any of you ladies out there. And I have got a partner. I am taken. I know. It's not that funny. I call her my girlfriend. She likes to call herself my county council appointed carer. But, you know, words that can be used either way. And, but anyway, yeah, I did go to Shenton Hill. And what my favourite thing was, like I say, I wasn't the most academic of kids, but what I used to like was the summer term, and we used to go on school trips. And I had friends who went to other schools. Some kids went to Uplands, some kids went to Sacred Heart. And you know, you used to go, where are you going? And they go, oh, it's great, we're going Unstanton. Which when you say, oh, going Unstanton doesn't sound that exciting, compared to where we used to go, it was. And they go, where are you going? And then someone else go, we're going West Midlands Safari Park. Do you know where we used to go? Bradgate Park. and you know, I don't know, well, everybody here must have been to Bradgate Park, or if you've not seen, you can see it from here. That's your annual trip to where you can see. And you know, because we were in a city school, we didn't see the countryside, but I lived on St Saviour's Road, which is the biggest hill in Leicester. I look at my bedroom, and all I can see is old John. A crap trip. And the other trip that I used to really like, which I really liked, but I used to like going to the museums. I never used to like the Newark Museum, that was a bit boring, although it had the dinosaurs in it, Newark Museum. And then there was the Guildhall, which was quite good, because I had the prisoners. But my favourite was the Newark Houses. Has anybody been to the Newark Houses Museum? Once I did a gig here, it was, and I went, ain't that, because I was talking about museums, I said, ain't that Space Centre shit? And there was a really big laugh from one table, and I thought, oh, it wasn't that good a joke, but I'll go with it, I'm not proud. And the director of the Space Centre was on that table, and then came up to me and agreed, which was a bit strange. But anyway, the Newark Houses was my favourite museum, and we used to go every year. We used to walk there. That's from school. We used to walk across town, and if you've been there, it's not that fantastic. Although I'll tell you in a minute. But there's one thing there that's fantastic, that is really brilliant, and it's the Daniel Lambert room. I don't know if anyone knows. Who everyone should know, because he was a national hero at the time. But Daniel Lambert was a 52-stone jailer of Leicester prison, and he was used as a pin-up. That's really strange, to recruit people to the army. And like I say, I was about 7 years old going there. I had hair a bit like Leo Sayer. Everything I wore was nylon. I had those black plimmies with the elasticated tops, because I couldn't do my own laces up. And the night before I'd go on a school trip, I'd be so excited, so I'd wear all my clothes, so my nylon t-shirt, my nylon underpants, Y-fronts, cream with a brown trim, and my mum had ironed a transfer on the front of the thongs going, hey, like that, and that had gone crispy. I'm drawing a picture here that's too real, I'm afraid. So the night before I'd wear all that to bed, because I wouldn't want to be late to get to school, because it was school trip day. And also I used to have nylon sheets. So that every night before a school trip, I don't know why, but there was always an electrical storm over the Spinney Hill Park. So I don't know how that happened. But anyway, you go on that trip, and on a school trip day, you take sandwiches. So my mum would always do the same thing. She'd do me 2 jam sandwiches and 2 Dairy Lee sandwiches, and a little biscuit. And also, we didn't have real pop at all. We never had that. Occasionally had Alpine, but she used to have diluting pop. And you know, like sometimes when you watch Comic Relief and they go over to Africa and they dig a well and then they put a purification in it. Do you know the water that comes out before the purification? That was purer than when after all of us had had a swig out this orange juice that my mum had made. And so we'd all have this and we'd all go off, and then I'd try and swap my dinner with Raj, who'd come with enough food for an Indian wedding. He'd have samosas, pakoras, a bit of dal, some naans, and he'd be going, what's in your sandwiches? I go, oh, that's spam. And he goes, is that vegetarian? And to this very day, I still feel guilty about this. I said, yeah, but I got to swap you for 4 samosas. And I just really worry that when he goes to be reincarnated as a Hindu, and they go to him, have you lived a pure life? Have you ever eaten meat? And he goes, no. And I go, well, actually, 27th of June, 1974, when you went to the museum, you had spam. And for that, you can fuck off. And it'll all be my fault. So, you know, so we had that. So we're good to the Newark houses. Anyway, and we're good to Newark houses, and there we go. And it was fantastic. And like I say, so here's a 7-year-old, loads of hair, going round in all my nylon, and there was a fantastic room. It's called the Daniel Lambert room. And in there, it's got a pair of his pants on the wall, and it's got his chair. So I was about 7 years old. I'm going, wow, look at that chair, it's huge. It's so massive. And those pants on the wall, they're enormous. They're enormous. I can't believe how big they are. Well, anyway, the Newark houses had a refit, isn't it? So I went about 3 months ago, and I went in to the same room, and I thought, them pants look comfy. I bought the fucking chair, so... Alright then, anyway, it's 5-2, they've set up, so can you put your hands together? Well, first of all, who you've seen so far, big appreciation for KGB, come on. A massive round of applause for Mello Baku. And now, can you welcome onto the stage the Jazz Co-op, come on!